Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something right now. Life, it ain't about luck. It ain't about who you know. Life is all about choices. That's it. That's the whole game right there. Every single day you wake up, you're being handed the greatest gift life has to offer, a fresh start. 24 brand new hours, clean as a blank page, full of potential and opportunity. That's a gift a lot of people don't even realize they have. Some folks wake up mad about yesterday, worried about tomorrow, or stuck in something that happened 5 years ago. But the truth is, today, right now, is all you really got, and what you do with this day, that's entirely up to you. That's a choice. See, the thing is, you don't have to be a millionaire, or have the right connections, or come from a perfect background to win in life. That's a lie the world tries to sell you. All you really need is the courage to choose differently. Every day presents you with options. Are you gonna get out of bed and chase that dream, or are you gonna hit snooze and let another day pass you by? Are you gonna speak life over yourself, or are you gonna sit there and let self-doubt keep talking? The power is in the choice, and nobody else can make it for you. Now, don't get me wrong, it ain't always easy. Life throws a lot at you. Some mornings it feels like the weight of the world is sitting right on your chest. Maybe you've been knocked down, maybe life has disappointed you, but guess what? You still woke up. That means God ain't done with you yet. That means there's still purpose inside you, still something worth fighting for. But to see it, you gotta choose to show up. You gotta choose to push through the pain, through the fear, through the excuses. People always say, Steve, what's the secret? Let me tell you, the secret is in your daily choices. You don't magically end up successful. You don't magically end up with peace, joy, or freedom. You choose it. One day at a time, one decision at a time, that's how it works. You choose to learn instead of quit. You choose to forgive instead of hold on to bitterness. You choose to grow when staying the same would be easier. That's how transformation happens. Let me break it down even further. Every time you open your eyes, you stand at a crossroads. One path leads you closer to the life you dream of. The other, it keeps you in the same place, or worse, takes you backwards. Now the beautiful thing is, you don't have to get it perfect. You just gotta be intentional. You gotta wake up and say, today, I'm choosing to get better. Today, I'm choosing to take one step forward. It might be a small step, but a step is a step. And enough small steps add up to something big. You ain't stuck. You're just one decision away from movement, one choice away from momentum. So don't waste the day. Don't treat today like it's just another Tuesday or Thursday or whatever. It's a gift, it's a blessing, it's a second chance, even if you blew it yesterday. You don't have to wait for January 1st, or for the stars to line up, or for somebody to give you permission. You got that power right now. Today, so what's it gonna be? Will you choose to stay the same, or will you choose to become everything you were created to be? The clock is ticking, but it ain't too late. You woke up this morning. That means you got everything you need to change your life. All you gotta do is choose. There comes a moment in every person's life where they gotta make a decision that separates the dreamers from the doers. That decision is this. Are you gonna choose comfort, or are you gonna choose growth? Because you can't have both. It's like oil and water. They don't mix. Growth demands discomfort. It asks you to stretch, to reach, to step outside of what's familiar. Comfort, on the other hand, wants you to stay exactly where you are safe, still, and stuck. Now, don't get me wrong. Comfort feels good. It's warm, it's easy, it's predictable. Ain't nobody saying it doesn't have its place, but here's the catch. Nothing great ever came from a comfort zone. No break through ever happened in the middle of a lazy afternoon nap. No business was built in the safe zone. No purpose was found on the couch bin, watching TV. Every person you admire, every success story you hear, they all have one thing in common. They chose growth over comfort. They chose to be uncomfortable for a season so they could be unstoppable for a lifetime. See, when you choose growth, you're choosing the hard road. You're choosing early mornings, late nights, rejection, self-doubt, failure, and frustration. You're choosing to walk into rooms where you might not be the smartest person, where people might not clap for you yet. Growth doesn't always look pretty in the beginning. Sometimes it looks like being broke. Sometimes it looks like being misunderstood. But let me tell you, that's the soil where greatness grows. That struggle, that stretching, that pressure. That's where your potential starts to bloom. Comfort whispers in your ear and says, "You've done enough, just chill. You're okay right here." But growth shouts back and says, "You were made for more. Don't settle. Keep going." And most people, they listen to comfort. They let fear dress itself up as logic. They stay in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, habits that hold them back. Because it's familiar. Because it feels safe. But the truth is, safe is often just a slow death. A life lived inside the lines is a life half lived. You know what's wild. Sometimes the thing you fear the most is the very thing that would set you free. But you'll never know until you choose to move through it. You'll never know how strong you are until you do something that scares you. That's why growth ain't just about setting goals. It's about becoming someone new. And to become someone new, you gotta leave some old things behind. You gotta say goodbye to the version of you that was just surviving. You gotta bury comfort so you can give birth to purpose. Let me put it to you this way. Comfort feels good now, but costs you later. Growth feels hard now, but rewards you forever. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret, that thing weighs tons. So if you gotta choose between the two, choose the pain that leads somewhere. Choose the struggle that builds something inside you. Choose the fire that forges your character. Now I'm not saying you gotta flip your life upside down overnight. What I am saying is, every day in small ways, you have the chance to choose differently. You can choose to learn something new instead of watching the same show. You can choose to wake up earlier instead of hitting snooze. You can choose to speak up when it's scary, to try when it's risky, to keep going when it's hard. Those small choices add up to big changes. So remember this, the life you want is not found where it's easy. It's found where it's worth it. If you really want to grow, then get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because on the other side of that discomfort, that's where your destiny lies. We live in a world that's obsessed with getting it right. People are scared to mess up, scared to make the wrong move, scared to fail. But let me tell you something that might just change the way you see your life. Even the wrong choices can teach you the right lessons. Every mistake, every setback, every detour you've taken, they weren't wasted. They were part of the process. They were part of your preparation. See, we all want the straight path. We want the easy success story. The one where everything lines up, where all the doors open, where every decision turns out perfect. But life don't work like that. Life is messy. Life is trial and error. And sometimes you only figure out what works by finding out what doesn't. That wrong job you took taught you what kind of environment you'll never tolerate again. That relationship that broke your heart showed you your worth, your strength, and what real love should feel like. That opportunity you passed on only to regret it gave you the wisdom to never play small again. You see, people think failure is the opposite of success. That's not true. Failure is a part of success. It's a chapter in the story, not the ending. And the folks who win big in life, They're not the ones who made all the right choices. They're the ones who kept choosing, even after they got it wrong. They're the ones who took their pain and turned it into purpose, who took their lessons and used them like stepping stones. Let me be honest with you. I've made some choices in my life that were straight up dumb. I've trusted the wrong people, ignored good advice, chased things that didn't align with my calling. But guess what? Every single one of those decisions taught me something. I learned who was really in my corner. I learned how to listen to my gut. I learned how to bounce back, and those lessons, I couldn't have learned them any other way. That's the blessing in the mistake. It grows you, it refines you, it gives you depth. So stop beating yourself up for the wrong turns you've made. You're human. You're supposed to mess up. That's how you learn. What matters isn't whether you made a mistake. It's what you do with the lesson. Do you keep repeating the same pattern, or do you grow from it? Do you let it define you, or do you let it build you? Because here's what I believe. God can use your worst decisions to prepare you for your best seasons. He don't waste pain. He don't waste failure. He uses all of it, but you gotta be willing to learn. You gotta humble yourself enough to say, you know what, I got that one wrong, but now I know better, so I'm gonna do better. There's power in that. There's maturity in that, and most importantly, there's freedom in that. Freedom from guilt, from shame, from the weight of perfection. When you realize that your value doesn't disappear just because you made a wrong choice, you start walking differently. You stop trying to prove yourself and start focusing on improving yourself. So the next time you mess up, because you will, remember this, it's not the end of the road. It's just another step on the journey. Dust yourself off, learn the lesson, make the adjustment, and keep it moving, because wrong choices are just life's way of guiding you toward the right direction. If you're willing to pay attention, most people spend their whole lives waiting on the right time, waiting for a sign, waiting until they feel ready. And while they're waiting, life is passing them by. See, the truth is, you don't need another sign. You don't need another confirmation. You need to move. You need to decide, because more often than not, the real issue isn't that you don't know what to do. It's that you're scared to do it. Let's be real. Fear has a way of disguising itself as logic. It says, well, maybe I should wait a little longer. Or let me pray on it one more time. Or I just need to be sure. Now listen, ain't nothing wrong with prayer or being thoughtful about your choices. But if you keep asking for signs after God already gave you direction, that's not faith. That's delay. That's fear dressed up in spiritual language. You already know the job isn't right. You already know the relationship is draining you. You already know that dreams been sitting in your spirit for years, begging to come alive. But still you hesitate, you stall, you overthink, and the more you wait, the heavier the weight becomes. Let me tell you something. Clarity doesn't always come before action. Sometimes clarity shows up because you moved. See, we want the full picture before we take the first step. We want God to send us the blueprint, the timeline, and a list of guaranteed results before we even try. But that ain't how faith works. Faith is choosing to move forward without having all the answers. It's trusting that if God brought you to the edge, He's going to show you how to fly, or how to build the wings on the way down. There are people sitting on ideas that could change lives, staying stuck in comfort zones because they keep saying, I'm waiting on a sign. Let me help you out. Your desire to change is the sign. Your restlessness is the sign. That thing in your gut telling you there's more, that is the sign. You don't need another voice, another quote, another sermon. What you need is courage. I get it. Moving without certainty is scary, but you know what's even scarier? Regret. Looking back one day and realizing you had the chance, the gift, the time, but you didn't use it. You let fear win. You let doubt talk you out of it. Don't be that person. Don't be the one who had potential but never activated it because they stayed waiting for a perfect moment that never came. The most successful, fulfilled people aren't the ones who had all the answers from the jump. They're the ones who took the first step even if their knees were shaking. They're the ones who started with what they had, where they were, and figured out the rest as they went. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. And let me tell you this, God honors movement. He blesses momentum. When you start walking in the direction of your calling, even with fear, He meets you there. He opens doors you couldn't even see from where you were standing still, but you gotta move. You gotta trust that even if you fall, you'll fall forward, and if you fail, cool, learn the lesson and pivot. But whatever you do, don't stay stuck. So today, let this be your wake-up call. Stop waiting on a burning bush. The fire is already inside you. The sign is already in your spirit. Now it's on you to act. Don't ask God to guide your steps if you're not willing to move your feet. Step out. Take the risk. Start the thing. You don't need another sign. You just need to move. Take a good look at your life right now. Where you live, how you feel, what you do, the people around you. Everything you see. That's the result of the choices you've made. It didn't just happen. It wasn't an accident. Whether it was intentional or unconscious, your life is a reflection of the decisions you made yesterday, last week, last year. And once you understand that, you stop blaming the world. And you start owning your power. See, people love to point fingers. I'm like this because of my upbringing. I'm broke because the system is unfair. I'm stuck because of what they did to me. Now look, I get it. Life can be hard. It's not always fair. Some folks were dealt a tougher hand, no question. But at some point, you got to stop focusing on what happened to you and start focusing on what you're gonna do with it. Because your past might explain you, but it doesn't define you. Your next chapter is unwritten, and it's being shaped right now by the choices you're making. Here's the thing, if you don't like where your life is headed, the good news is, you're not stuck. You can turn the whole thing around. But it starts with making new choices, different choices, better choices. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect a new result. That's insanity. You gotta break the cycle. You gotta choose growth, even when it's uncomfortable. Choose discipline, even when it's not convenient. Choose responsibility, even when it's easier to blame someone else. Maybe you've been choosing to stay in a job that drains you. Maybe you've been choosing habits that kill your momentum. Maybe you've been choosing silence when your voice could change everything, and maybe nobody knows it, but deep down you know. You've been holding yourself back, you've been playing small, but guess what? You're not alone. We all do it at some point. What matters is what you choose next. You don't need a total life overhaul overnight. That's not realistic, but you can start small, one choice at a time. Choose to wake up 30 minutes earlier and work on your dream. Choose to eat something that fuels your body instead of slows it down. Choose to call someone who lifts you up instead of scrolling mindlessly for hours. These small choices might not seem like much at first, but they stack up. They create momentum, and over time, they create a new you. Understand this. You are the result of your habits, not your hopes. Everyone wants to be great. Everyone wants success, peace, love, purpose. But not everyone is willing to make the choices required to get there. Wanting is not enough. Wishing won't get it done. You gotta choose it. Daily, consistently, especially when it's hard. The truth is, your future is already forming. It's forming right now in how you treat today. If you keep making the same choices, you'll keep living the same life. But if you dare to make different ones, if you start aligning your decisions with the life you say you want, everything can change. Your habits shape your future. Your decisions build your destiny, and your power is not in your past, it's in your next move. So if you're not where you want to be, take a breath. Forgive yourself, but don't stop there. Decide right here, right now, that you're gonna start choosing better, not perfect, just better. Because every day is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. And when you stack up enough of the right votes, life starts to look very different. Your future doesn't just happen. You build it, one choice at a time. One of the most powerful truths you'll ever realize is this: you are just one choice away from a completely different life. One decision. That's all it takes to change your direction, shift your mindset, or start a brand new chapter. It doesn't matter how long you've been stuck. It doesn't matter how many times you've failed. The moment you choose differently, choose boldly, choose intentionally, that moment becomes the turning point. Now, most people underestimate the power of a single decision. They think change has to be dramatic, that they need to wait for some major breakthrough, a lottery win, or a miracle. But life doesn't usually work like that. It's not about waiting on big moments. It's about recognizing the power of small decisions made with big faith. Choosing to show up when you feel like hiding. Choosing to believe in yourself even when doubt is louder. Choosing to start over even when you're scared. Think about it. The decision to walk away from something toxic, that can save your spirit. The decision to apply for that opportunity, that can open doors you never imagined. The decision to say no when you used to say yes, just to please people, that's freedom. One choice can lead to a new habit. That habit becomes a routine. That routine becomes your lifestyle. And before you know it, you're living a life that looks nothing like the one you were stuck in before. We often wait for motivation to strike before we move, but real change doesn't come from motivation. It comes from decision. You don't need to feel ready to start. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to choose to begin, and that's where most people get it twisted. They think they have to be fearless to make a bold move. No, my friend, you don't need to be fearless. You just need to move through the fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's doing it anyway. That's what separates people who break through from the ones who stay stuck. The breakthrough isn't magical, it's intentional. It's a result of a choice. A choice to stop waiting, a choice to stop blaming, a choice to stop shrinking. Some of the biggest blessings in life are sitting on the other side of one decision you're scared to make. But the longer you wait, the longer you stay where you are. Let me tell you something. Your breakthrough is not on the mountaintop. It's in the decision you make today, the decision to forgive, the decision to walk in purpose, the decision to bet on yourself. It might feel small in the moment, but that one choice could reroute your entire life. And you'll look back one day and say, that was the moment everything started to change. This ain't about perfection. It's about alignment. It's about deciding that you're done playing small, done making excuses, done settling for less. When you decide to move toward who you were created to be, everything around you starts to shift. Opportunities come. People show up. The path becomes clearer. But none of that happens unless you take the first step. So don't wait until you're not scared. Don't wait until the timing is perfect. Don't wait until everybody agrees. Just decide. Decide that your future is worth fighting for, that your peace is worth protecting, that your dreams are worth chasing, and then act on that decision. Because at the end of the day, your life is shaped not by the chances you get, but by the choices you make. You're just one choice away from a better mindset, one choice away from a healthier lifestyle, one choice away from purpose, healing, and transformation. So the only question left is this: what will you choose today?